Welcome to Great Create. I'm your host, Gabe Patillo. In each episode, we present a new pair of creators and makers with a specific challenge inspired by our experienced mentors. From baking to painting, sculpting to songwriting, we'll be on this wild ride to see what these brilliant artists come up with. Which final presentation will be the favorite? That's up to you, the audience, to decide. Welcome to Great Create. Photography. It used to be a patient man's game. Not anymore. Now there's hundreds of ways to capture those special moments. Well, today we have two amazing photographers that have stepped up to our Great Create challenge. Let's see if they can capture the attention of our world-traveling Brookdale resident Louise, and ultimately, you at home. Let's meet our photographers.
My name is Jeff Carpenter. I'm a commercial portrait and headshot photographer based just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I think my work is split into two different categories. I've got my client work, and then I kind of allow myself some creative freedom. That's where I do a lot more of my collaborating. So if you look at my Instagram, I use a lot of color, I use a lot of kind of different creative techniques to create something. So it's almost turned into two separate businesses at this point, but I still have my creative clients, which are more the fun shoots, you know?
Hi, I'm Scott Kelby, and I love to create photographs to tell a story. Well, actually, what got me started was my brother Jeff, came home one day and he had some 8x10s made. And it was so inspiring. I was like, wow, somebody I know can do this. Maybe I can do this. And he gave me his handout. I got a hand-me-down of his first camera, and that was off and running. That was it. Today, mostly what I do is teach photography. We kind of fell into it. I was publishing a magazine for Macintosh computer users. And we went to a users group meeting of Macintosh users, and somebody was showing Photoshop. And somebody said, man, it would be great if you could have, 2 hours of Photoshop. And I said, I bet people would go for a whole day of it. And literally, and 3 weeks later, we held our first full day live Photoshop seminar. So that day was the first day I ever stood in front of a crowd and started teaching Photoshop. Kind of lucked into it. It just kind of happened.
Jeff and Scott, welcome to Great Create. Thank you both for being here so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely, this is great.
So let me ask you this, Jeff. When's the last time a challenge was thrown at you that you had to try to do with the camera?
That's actually been called a challenge. It's been a minute, but I think, every day is a challenge when it comes to doing what we do.
And Scott, coming from your standpoint, you've done this a long time. You teach classes on this. Are you thinking this will be a walk in the park?
Doing a blind challenge like this where you don't know what's coming, it's very challenging. So I'm a little nervous. I'm a little apprehensive. I don't know what's going to come my way. I'm hoping it's going to be something that falls in a genre that I can pull off. So I don't want to show any bit of confidence unless Jeff is looking.
There you go. Well, you guys ready to meet our experienced mentor?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Today's judge is Louise Van Vliet. She's a resident at Brookdale Oakwood in Dayton, Ohio, and has a lifelong passion for travel and photography. Louise entertains her fellow residents with slideshows of her travels, which were captured in color and black and white. She has a rich story, and we're excited to have her as a judge on Great Create.
In Ohio, I've lived here for, I would say, 50 some years. First of all, I went to graduate school in Yugoslavia, and then I traveled just for fun throughout Europe, Antarctica. Yeah, usually I had the camera with me. Most of mine are animals, trees, or something like that.
Hello, Louise. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you.
So we've got our two photographers here, Jeff and Scott. And we know you're not a professional photographer like them, but you've traveled the world taking amazing pictures, and we've gotten to see them. And I've got a question for you. How did you get that close to those penguins?
We were just there in the right place.
And so they didn't scurry off? They weren't scared by your presence or anything like that?
Oh, yes.
You just have the eye for it.
Well, I'm flattered, obviously.
All right, well, it's time to reveal today's challenge. Is everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Absolutely.
All right, well, here we go. Create a black and white photo essay of something traditionally captured in color. All right, creators, the challenge has been set. You have the talent and ability, but are you ready?
I can't wait. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Well, we can't wait to see what you come up with. The challenge starts now.
So just got downtown Nashville, and we're gonna head across the river and just see what we can capture. It seems a bit daunting, I'm not gonna lie. It's very out of my realm of expertise, to say the least. You shoot something that's in color, turn it black and white, that's already got my gears spinning, and then shoot something landscape or still life. That's 2 strikes already. Man, what in the world am I gonna do?
My initial reaction is, I'm a color photographer. Like, that's my thing. My first thought was, okay, we'll shoot like the skyline of Tampa. Because when you get out of Tampa Airport, there's like a big poster there and it's got this big, beautiful skyline and it's kind of nicely lit and all. But then I realized the buildings are already kind of gray. So that's not gonna make for a great, like, dramatic change from color to black and white. And then it hit me, flowers. Flowers are so beautiful and they're so colorful and they're almost always portrayed in color.
My initial instinct is go down there, capture the essence of downtown Nashville, but take it one step further, make it monochromatic. All right, so I think we got our game plan. We've walked around for about an hour, just kind of scoping some spots out. Once the sun gets a little lower, we'll come back out, we'll get our shots, and then we'll start editing. That's the fun part.
So we're actually at the loading dock behind my office. It's beautiful back here, but it really doesn't matter because we're gonna kind of make our own little studio for flower photography. We're gonna give it a shot and see how it comes out. That's what I'm looking for, boys and girls. Let me try it nice and straight up now.
All right, Louise, so these guys are off to complete the challenge. If you were given this exact same challenge and we said, Miss Louise, go out, take a picture of something that would normally be in color and bring it back in black and white, what's one of the first things that would come to your mind that you might want to capture?
I'm just a fun photographer, so I never analyzed, oh, what should I be doing? How should I be showing this? I was strictly taking it for the fun of it.
And for bragging rights, is that right?
Oh yes, because then, I've been here, you haven't been there. So I was after bragging rights, yeah.
All right, Scott's got his work cut out for him. Beautiful, vibrant flowers going black and white. Oh no, let's see what Jeff has got going.
We really want to get this kind of the neon lights of Nash Vegas. So let's go do that. I knew going into it, it wasn't just going to be, all right, let's go find this one spot, click and go. Out on location, you are kind of, I don't want to say you're getting like thrown around a bunch of different directions, but you're a little less tethered. You're going out and you're kind of just out there exploring, and what happens, happens.
You know what? I got to take a pedal off here. I think I'm going to take 2 pedals off. I know that you're not supposed to do that, but I'm doing it. How about like that? Doggone, I was like, that's perfect, and then it rotated. The shoot worked, like the lighting was okay and everything kind of worked, right? We used natural light and stuff, but the flowers themselves weren't that awesome. I don't think it was like the best day for flowers. So what I'm thinking of doing is this. I'm gonna cheat. I've got a spray bottle. I'm gonna spray it with water. So I'm trying to tilt the flower towards the camera. The water drops will hold and we can kind of get in there and just add a little more visual interest. We're gonna mist it with some water. Let's see what it does for our flower. Oh, that actually did pretty well. Oh, that's not bad at all.
I might just try to shoot this. This is kind of interesting. I feel like they should really address their plumbing issue though. I think I kind of went into it thinking like, oh, like how hard is it to walk around with a camera and take pictures of stuff? Really hard is the answer to that. We're heading back over the bridge. It's been a night. It's been real. It's been a fun challenge. Definitely out of my comfort zone for sure.
All right, so Jeff is running around out of his element. That's all right. Scott is back at the studio. Let's see how he brings this thing home.
A perfect rose would have made my job really, really easy. An okay rose made the shot? Okay. Let's take a look at the lily here. All right, let's crop it a little better, and let's brighten the exposure a bit. Okay, now we're gonna add our drama. Let's convert it to black and white. So let's go with this red filter. That doesn't look bad. Let's put a little oval in here and darken outside it, make it kind of more dramatic.
All right, so we had a great night last night. We're back here at my studio. We're gonna take a look at some of the photos. What I wanna do, I'm just gonna go through a bunch of them and just kind of quickly, gut instinct, pick the ones that I like. So I loved these the yellow pillars and this kind of puddle and the kind of almost futuristic look. So I'm definitely gonna play with one of these. This one I had some stuff on my lens and it actually kind of worked out. I think it looks cool because it kind of plays with, almost looks like water droplets. I wanna play with this one and kind of maybe go more abstract because by just first glance, you don't necessarily know what this is. Now it's just a matter of, do I choose the wide shot or the tall shot? I think we'll figure that out later.
I think if there's an advantage is I'm pretty decent at the post-processing side. I know those programs pretty well. I'm in those daily, so that's my edge. If I've got one, it's that.
It's one of those things where I don't know if I'm ever truly happy with it because you can tweak these things. You can tweak this to Kingdom Come.
Jeff and Scott, welcome back. You've done the thing now. You completed the challenge. Jeff, we saw you were kind of out there and had the weather to deal with a little bit. Out at nighttime, what was the biggest challenge for you being out there?
I think the biggest challenge on kind of going out on location, like I'm usually a studio shooter, so just kind of the location scouting and taking me completely out of my comfort zone and into a style of shooting that I'm not comfortable with at all. You know, it was definitely a challenge to say the least.
Scott, we saw that you had some issues with some flowers. They weren't exactly performing like you wanted them to perform. How did you work around that? And what were you thinking as you were processing that?
What I was thinking was, I need to stop and go find some different flowers. They didn't quite come out the way I had hoped. I've had great success when I wasn't in the middle of a challenge with shooting flowers, but it did not turn out that way, which is probably why it's called a challenge.
Yeah, that's right. And keeping with you, Scott, the challenge was to remove color. So as you're looking at these flowers, what are you thinking? Is it the shape? Where's your mind going when you're thinking, okay, this is gonna be in black and white?
Well, when you remove color, now it becomes a graphical composition, right? And it goes from a photograph of something we know to hopefully something that has a different interest because the color is gone, which I think is the great part of the challenge, but it's also the challenging part of the challenge.
And Jeff, we know that you were trying to capture some neon. What was it about neon that drew you to that, knowing that you were gonna end up in black and white?
When I first heard the challenge, I was like, okay, like neon lights downtown Nashville. That was like my initial instinct. The color is like what makes it. So when you take the color away, it just looks like a big jumble of lights. So it's how can we overcome that obstacle? That was the biggest challenge, period.
Well, the time has come. Are you guys ready to present your final pieces?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go. All right, we are back with the final presentation. So Louise, we are looking at Scott's photos first, and they are incredible. Taking something that should have been in color, changing it to black and white. What's the first thing that's hitting you, Miss Louise?
Oh, I want one of those for my photograph. They're all very nice.
Let me ask you this, overall, can you almost see the color in your mind when you're seeing these? I mean, these are bright, vibrant flowers that are now had all the color sucked out of them. Are you almost imagining the color?
Yes.
There you go. That means Scott did his job well. He created beautiful flowers. Our brain is just taking in how beautiful they are. That's awesome. Scott, you did amazing.
Thank you.
All right, let's move over to Jeff's photos, which is a very stark difference from the flowers. All right, Miss Louise, we've got shots of what looks like downtown Nashville.
If you said to me, oh, would I want any of these photos in my living room? Honey, I'm looking at it, just inspired. No.
There you go, Jeff. All right, Miss Louise, now it's time to choose your favorite. Would you choose the group of the downtown Nashville pictures or the group of flower pictures?
The group of flower pictures.
There we go. There we go. And Scott does a happy dance. Nailed it. All right, we've got Miss Louise's favorites, but now at home, it's your time to vote. Which ones were your favorite?
Now it's your chance to choose your favorite. Once your votes are tallied, the people's choice for each episode will be revealed on our season finale. Your favorite will receive a donation to the charity of their choosing. So let's go, everyone.
We want to give a big thank you to Scott and Jeff for their amazing work. A special thanks to Louise for joining us and inspiring us. We've got more awesome creators coming up on our show. Be sure that you check out our additional challenges so you don't miss out on any of these amazing creations and the stories that inspire them. Right here on Great Create.